I have purchased a lot of devices from Apple, and how did I get here?
I wake up, flex, thumb down, that check, no drip, this, tell 'em run it up.
It all started for me in the early 2000s when Apple released the iPod Shuffle. It changed the world for me, as I used to have those CD players with the AA batteries, and then I had all my music in a digital device. That's crazy how time flies. Fast forward to today, Apple is literally everywhere on your body. Today, I want to do a fun video where I review all my Apple products I currently own. We'll talk about the prices and see the total at the end. We're going to review each item and I'll be honest about it. So let's go. The very first device is the M4 Mac Mini. I know it came out like a month ago. I had to buy one, even though I kind of needed it, but I was using my laptop to edit a lot of my videos. But M4 came out, Mac Mini, small. I was like, okay, I gotta get my hands in one. On the M4 Pro, I spent $1,695 because I didn't get the base model. I never buy the base model of any products. I always like to upgrade it so that the device is future proof, because you know, next year, who knows what Apple's going to release. I want to make sure that when they release this next product, my product is still relevant and is still going to be effective. I've talked about what I use it for, which is mainly for editing. I use it for my day-to-day task operations. I also watch videos on it. So I consider my M4 Mac Mini as the computer that I do everything with. Like, was it worth it? 100%, absolutely. Especially for the price point that I paid for it, and you know, the quality, the value for money, it is incredible. The next device is that one device you know you just can't escape. You have to have one. It's nothing other than,
and we are calling it iPhone.
I've actually been using iPhone for the past 8 years now. 8 years now. I was a diehard Android fan for over 10 years, right? Like, I've used HTC phone, then I switched to Samsung for like at least 5 or 6 years, and then I got an iPhone. And from the first time that I got my iPhone, that was it. There was no going back. Right now, I have been using my iPhone 14 Pro Max that I got 2 years ago, and Apple, I am not upgrading anytime soon. If you want me to upgrade, send me the phone, because I don't see any difference with the phones. I have been someone that have been upgrading. I upgraded from 11 to 12 to 13 to 14. Then I got to 14. I was like, why was I upgrading? There's really no difference. Like, not even from the, I don't see any difference. You know, they might just make like a few tweaks to the phones and that's it. So I don't remember how much I actually spent when I bought the 14 Pro Max, because that was 2 years ago and I couldn't find the receipt and stuff. But I know it was around $1,400. Now let's move on to the next thing, which I would say is probably my favorite device of all time from Apple. Like, I have been a big fan of this device, and I have been, even when I had my Android, I've always had this device, which is nothing more than the MacBook Pro. Like, the MacBook Pro series has to be the best series that Apple have ever brought out. Like, I've been using the MacBook Pro, I'll say, for at least 12 years now. So I've followed the path from the days where we used to be able to swap the hard drives and swap the DVD, to now where everything is SSD and everything's all glued together in the motherboard. The one I have right now is the M1 MacBook Pro. It is a 16 gig RAM, 1 terabyte. I bought it in 2022 and I spent $3,200. And you're probably like, this dude is crazy, spent a lot of money on the computer. Yes, when you're editing video, when you're an editor, you need to have the most powerful system that you can have.
I'm running the muck and I'm caught in the clinic. I don't do this shit for applause.
And now let's get to one of the craziest things that I bought from Apple, that when I got home, I was slapping myself left and right like, Wale, why did you spend this amount on this device? It's nothing other than the AirPods Pro Max. For context, this earphone cost $593. That's how much I bought it for, and 19 cents to be exact. You know, it's a noise cancellation headphone with pretty good sound quality. It's pretty dope. So now, what do I use the AirPods Pro Max for? I travel a lot. My ears pop when I don't have a good headphone on, so definitely the noise cancellation was what showed me. Now, speaking of AirPod, I have something interesting, right? I have the very original AirPod that was first released in 2016, and I still have it till today, right? The very first one that I bought, because that thing, I don't know, for some reason I liked it and I've just always kept it. And if I'm going in the office or if I'm going somewhere around, I still pop it up out of my car and I still use it. It doesn't have the noise cancellation of all the new ones and all this stuff, but there's just something about, not the music sound quality, but the voice sound quality when I'm on the phone that just gives me that raw, authentic sound that I still liked it today. When it was released for $199. and then, you know, with tax and other stuff. So I estimated that I spent $210 buying the very first AirPod.
Tell 'em run it off.
So my next device is the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. I've got it like sometime around 2019. I've been using it for quite some time. I'll say this is probably my second or third favorite device from Apple. The iPad is very versatile. It's powerful enough to handle a lot of like complications. I even edit videos. Sometimes like if I shoot something on my phone, I send it to my iPad and I can just knock it out real quick on the iPad. I sell real estate. I also carry it around with me when I'm selling my houses. I use it to display all the necessary home facts when I'm showing a house. I believe in 2019 I spent about $1,300. Like I said, I always like to upgrade all my devices to it's either if I'm upgrading the RAM memory or the chip, or I'm upgrading the SSD space, right? Okay, so we've talked about all the devices that I like. I've always liked the Apple Watches, except for the latest one, which was the Apple Watch Ultra. Honestly speaking, I didn't like it for one reason. I don't know if mine had a box or something, but it just never connected with my phone. Every time I have to reset the Apple Watch and reconnect it every time, and it got so annoying. I really didn't like it. I ended up selling it back to somebody, right? Apple Watch is cool for when you're in the house, when you're going to the gym, when you're doing like active stuff, but even just going to the office, my phone is always ringing, it's always buzzing. And even when I have it on Do Not Disturb, it's still buzzing because I have people on my favorites, and that sucks. When I'm trying to focus and I'm trying to work, my wrist is vibrating. You know, I know that's a personal problem, but it's just a thing where I'm like, you know what, let me just get a traditional watch. You know, stylistic speaking, I do like the look of like traditional watches and stuff. So okay, so you know there's no way we're gonna be talking about all the Apple devices and, you know, talking about the review and other stuff without talking about one thing that Apple does a really good job, and we have to commend them, is the ecosystem. A lot of times that's the reason why we buy Apple products, right? Because I could have bought something alternatively, but I just like the way all these devices connect with each other. They all talk to each other. It's pretty dope and very smart, right? One of the features that I really like is the seamless device handoff. So like, you know, if I'm doing something on my phone, right, let's say I'm browsing on my phone, I can just go to my laptop and continue doing what I was doing from my phone, which is, you know, it's really dope. Another thing that I like is the universal clipboard. So if I copy something on my iPad, I can paste it from my phone, paste it on my laptop, paste it on my M4 Mac. I also like the automatic Wi-Fi device switching. So if I connect my Wi-Fi on my iPhone, it will just automatically connect it on my laptop. Now, I've talked about a lot of ecosystem features that I really like, but there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and I think this is the godfather of the Apple ecosystem. Are you ready for it? AirDrop. AirDrop is just magnificent. The fact that I can share my files, man, I have suffered. I'm not gonna lie. Like back then, for me to transfer one file from one computer to another, I have to plug in, not SSD, plug in those regular hard drives, plug it in, transfer the file, unplug it, plug it to the next device, transfer it. Man, we don't do that anymore. Collectively, how much have I spent right now? Now, we're not calculating what I've spent in the past with like all the other devices I've bought, like just on the current devices and what I have right now. The total that I've spent for Apple is $9,245. It's not that bad. Other than that, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friend. I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.